Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to do a review of the new Scuf EnVy controller and some of the new features that it has. I've already done a full review of the Scuf One controller using the original Hornet model that I've had for a long time, so I'm going to be skipping over a lot of the more default things in a review. If you want to see a really detailed one, there's a link down in the description to this, and I would highly recommend you check it out. But today we're just going to focus on the EnVy controller, and I have a second EnVy controller here to show you the customization differences. But right off the bat, we've got the differences. We'll just move the camera on in and zoom in. You can see this is the standard Xbox One controller, yellow shell. The EnVy one actually has matte dark blue buttons. We have replaced the LED light here with the EnVy one. It'll glow blue. And we also have blue buttons and blue tops. This crazy thing right here is actually a D-pad. This is an optional thing. Let's see if I can turn that off. Oh. This is optional with the D-pad. What it does, if I can very gently, see, it just sits on top, so if you don't like it, you can pop it off. Or some people actually prefer to have an extra D-pad, so they added this option on. For me personally, I don't find it necessary, but some people play different games, and they found it to be very useful. On the back, this is a two-paddle one. You'll notice that we have the standard paddles here. This one comes with Scuf EnVy paddles. These are completely flat and smooth on this side. It's a little bit difficult to tell without the angle, but these are actually textured, so you get a slightly better grip. And you'll probably immediately notice that these have a different shape than the Scuf One paddles. These are finned. The reason for that is when you hold your regular controller like this, if you can, zoom in on my hands a little bit. So you have A, B, X, and Y, and you would click them. But the Xbox One controller has a slightly different shape, so you're kind of clicking in with this part of your finger, which is a little bit odd. So the people at Scuf found it to be better to angle the paddles so that you're more squeezing inward and you can just kind of pull in and hit your A and B. And I'm going to show off the 4-paddle version in just a little bit. One nice thing they did is that since they realized this after launch, they sent every single customer that bought the regular Scuf One an additional set of these two paddles so that you can just change them on the fly. I'm going to show you how to remove them and change them in just a little bit. Well, let's do a quick unboxing of the other EnVy Scuf that came in. So you can do this, the standard packaging. You'll get front, back sides. I don't think I've ever actually done a Scuf unboxing before. I've just done reviews. You'll open it up. You've got some instructions inside on how to do basic maintenance on the controller, trigger stops, that sort of stuff. And this is the EnVy Scuf with slightly different options. If I'm not mistaken, are the thumbsticks different? No, thumbsticks, I've actually ordered longer thumbsticks. Both of them are the same, but you can see we have a normal D-pad here versus a crazy D-pad there. On the back, you have 4 paddles instead of just 2. I strongly prefer 4 paddles so that I can hit X and Y and other buttons. Also, you'll notice that this has what they call the, if I can just rest this, the Pro Grip. This Pro Grip on this panel versus the Scuf Grip. Difference being this is a leathery type of material, and this is more of a plasticky kind of grip, more like a rubbery kind. So leathery and rubbery, just kind of depending on what you want. But I'll move this one out of the way for just a second. This one has the same, if I put the, oh wait, there's little tools on the bottom. Yeah, tools down here. Move this to the side. This one has the same sort of idea with the paddles, except I squeeze inward for A, B, X, and Y. The internal paddles are still flat but textured. The external ones are finned for better grip. Same trigger stops, very, very nice. And both of these have the electromagnetic remapping, EMR. So the original here, no EMR. That means that these paddles are stuck. This is A, B, X, Y forever until the end of time, and there's no changing these. So to use the electromagnetic remapping, what you would do is you would take the EMR key, which looks very similar to the old hex key that you used to get, except there's no hex coming out of the end, and we got a red U on this side instead of Scuf. And you would take it and stick it to the back of the controller, and it'll stick. You can see it's magnetic, it hangs, just pops off real easy. So I guess if you shake it around, that's a bad idea. But you stick it right here, and let's say I want to map this paddle to Y. I would hit and hold this paddle, and then on the front, I would hit and hold the Y button, and 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippis, and it's pretty much done. so that now every time I click this paddle it hits Y. So if I'm a sniper and I want a YY, I just YY, just like that. That's how the remapping works. And the thing about the paddles, very briefly, if you do have one of these hex keys, or if not, you can order one online. They're like $1.99. There's something really, really cheap. So my new Scuf One came. These are all handmade. These paddles were a little bit tight for me. Like, I had to squeeze them harder than I liked. And I was about to complain, and then I realized I had these keys, so what I can do is just put them right here. I'm going to really loosen this paddle up, like a lot. Like a whole lot. Just put that in there. Oops, come on. I'm trying to like, do work without looking at it, just so the camera can see it. And now it's a very, very loose paddle. It's just super easy to hit. If I feel it's too easy to hit, or if I'm accidentally hitting buttons just balancing the weight of the controller on my hand, then I can just take the hex key and tighten her right on back up. Same kind of way. And let's see, there we go. Whoops, one more twist. I can actually see what I'm doing. Now it's a much tighter paddle, and it pretty much, you got to put a little bit more effort into it. These I found to be the ones that I did the most work on. And if you wanted to change a paddle, if you had the original, you'd have to take these all the way out. Which I've never actually bothered to change the paddle before. I've always just tightened and loosened and little things like that. So this will be my first time ever taking a paddle off. Put that down there. Take this one off. And now you can just simply pick up the paddle and remove it. You can see on the underside the little button that it hits when it pushes down. It just clicks this. But it's much more comfortable to hit that than a tiny little button, and how it kind of locks in, and some of this a little bit as well. So you would discard the paddle if you didn't like the shape or if you wanted a different one, and then you can just come back and put the paddle right back on there. I'll probably hold it a little bit differently here so that it'll be easier for me to work with. Guess it would be extremely loose at this point. One thing you definitely shouldn't do is just leave one of these little hex screws in, because then it can pivot and do weird things and break. Just make sure that you have both hex screws back in before you actually use the paddles. That would be good, because nobody likes having to replace things that are broken. Super exciting, reviewing this, super exciting. Watch me screw. Wait, that's not right. That's totally wrong. Don't laugh, Jessica. I can see you laughing. And I'm going to tighten this one back up. And I think I over-tightened it. It's going to be... it's actually not that tight, yeah. Now it's back to normal. A, B, X, and Y. And this one, since I've remapped it, I now have A and Y, but I could remap it to anything I want. That's all for the EnVy controllers. Hope you like the look. I hope you learned something useful about the hex key, how to change the paddles, the magnetic key, how to remap them, and the difference between the two different types of grip, because I do get those questions a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I do have a Scuf coupon down and a discount code down in the description if you're interested. Drifter out.